Welcome to She Sells Radio, my friend. It is day 14 of the Finish Strong Challenge. Today, I want to talk with you about how to step into a greater level of worthiness in your life. And I was cracking up as I went to record this because Jack, our 2-year-old, has decided that he is going to start podcasting. So I walk into my office and the mic is, I'm adjusting it right now to make sure it's okay. But the mic is literally like pointed down at the floor and he wants to come on the show and podcast about music. So we may have a solo episode or a guest episode from the man himself coming up in the next few episodes. But in the meantime, I think I've got everything situated and hopefully sound is good and we are back to normal. So, this topic of worthiness, it comes up so much in our community. And it's definitely, I remember this was maybe even 5 years ago, like when I was, maybe it wasn't, yeah, maybe it was like 5 years ago. I was kind of like in the journey of, I started really investing in myself, working with high level mentors, starting to see that there was a different way to go about approaching goals. And I was at this retreat in Italy. And I remember asking my mentor, like, hey, we were mapping out our goals for the year. And I said, I'm starting to become aware that I don't feel worthy of the things I want. And what do you do with that? And so as I think back to, and her answer was like, yeah, it's a real thing that comes up. I think for all of us in different ways, right? For us as women. And so it's been a journey myself of learning to continuously up-level my sense of self-worth and my worthiness. And there's so much conditioning in our society that celebrates unworthiness, that celebrate, whether it's, religious wounding, whether it's just being celebrated. I believe in humility, but there's also a difference between humility and unworthiness, right? And so this is a big topic of conversation in our community. And one of the things that I truly, truly believe is that your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. Or to put it in another way, in the context of this challenge, which, by the way, I realize I should probably give some context. If you're just listening in now, you can go get registered for the challenge. It's totally free, ElyseArcher.com/challenge. But so in the context of this challenge, this is all about what are you looking to do or create by the end of this year, right? And so you achieving that goal too, the level of the goal that you achieve will be based upon your level of self-worth. And I've been working with a number of clients, one in particular comes to mind who I'm working with right now. She's a new client and we're working on this topic and it's like, she has everything she needs to achieve her goal. And the one piece that's currently missing is the sense of self-worth. Like just outside looking in, it's like she's done all the strategy pieces, she's done the right things, she's put the nuts and bolts in place for her business to achieve her goals. And yet she's very conscious, that she shared with me on a call, like there's a part of me that just doesn't feel worthy of this. And as we started to go back on some of her background and her life, there were a lot of things that happened growing up in her church with conditioning. And this is not a like bashing any sort of religious upbringing. I want you to know, like, that's not what this is, but it is saying, take a look at what messaging you were raised with, because a lot of us, myself included, were raised with messaging around, I am not worthy. I'll never be worthy. I'm wretched. I mean, literally like that type of messaging, right, was kind of perpetuated through a lot of our religious upbringing. And that was the case for her as well. And so now as she is in this really, it's an exciting time in her life, right? Because she's really saying yes to the expansive vision, but then simultaneously is working on shifting the energy out of one of feeling unworthy of what she wants to one of feeling worthy of what she wants. And so I wanted to talk with you about this today, because here's the thing. You are worthy just because you are. So there's no amount of money that's bigger than you. There's no amount of attainment that's bigger than you. Like when you really remember who you are worthy of what you want simply because you are. And there's nothing you need to do to prove it. There's nothing you need to do to earn it. And now again, a lot of the conditioning growing up was for many of us, like, if you do this, then you will receive this. And so there was this kind of conditional exchange, which, trust, like as a relatively new parent, I get it, right? Like sometimes you're like, gosh, I feel like I need to bribe this kid to do the to do the thing. So there is this conditional exchange that we are often brought up with, but this messaging and this conditioning is perpetuated in so many ways from so early on that it's not enough to just be, right? You've got to do something to earn it. You've got to show up, outperform, out hustle, outwork to earn it. And what I want to really anchor into you today is you are worthy just because you are. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to prove. There's nothing, I'm not saying there's not some actions you would need to take to achieve your goal, but I'm saying it is not possible for you to be more worthy than you already are. And yet, because we only receive what we feel worthy of in this world, if you don't feel worthy of what you want, or you don't believe deep down that you're worthy of it, you're going to receive what you feel worthy of. And that may not be what you're really going for. So sometimes we've got to do our own work to know, how do I shift from an intellectual knowing that I'm worthy because I am, to a real embodiment and understanding deep down that I'm worthy because I am. Because when we shift from that intellectual understanding to a being, to an embodiment, that's when it all feels like it's flowing. That's when what we want comes to us more quickly and easily than we could have imagined. That's when you have those moments that feel like synchronicities and like you're in sync with the universe. And so these are two things I wanted to share with you today. And I'm going to give you one specific one for the challenge, but two things that to me have always helped me shift the energy if I've found any sort of doubt or limiting belief around worthiness creeping in. So I'm going to give you just a general thing to do outside of the challenge, and I'm going to give you your specific for today. I've been recommending this to so many clients recently, and I've also been doing it myself more recently too. So it's fresh on my mind. This is from Lisa Nichols. This is not an Elyse original, but it is more powerful than I think you would realize just hearing it out loud. So I want you to actually give this a try. Now, you may feel like mirror work is hokey. And here's what I'm going to say. I did too, big time, until I started working with very successful mentors who were like, no, you have to do mirror work. And I was like, well, if it worked for them, then maybe I'm not so special that it won't work for me too. So it does work. If it feels completely uncomfortable for you, you can journal this instead. But one way or another, I want you looking at yourself or journaling every day. There's three things you're going to do. So the first is you're going to say your name, and then you're going to say, I'm proud of you for. So let's just assume you're doing this in the mirror. So it would be, if I was doing it, Elyse, I'm proud of you for. And then you're going to list off 7 things. Okay. The next is, I forgive you for. So I would say, Elyse, I forgive you for, and you'd list off 1 thing, because we hold on to these grudges, these resentments against ourselves that literally chip away at our self-worth. And then the final is you're going to say name. So Elyse, I commit to you that. And then you're going to list off 7 things. I commit to you that this is happening. This is happening. Boom. Like you can trust me, right? Whatever it is that you need to really commit to yourself. So that's a daily practice. Now, outside of that, one thing I want to encourage you to do specific to the challenge is go into your workbook. So again, if you aren't yet registered for the challenge, it's completely free, elysearcher.com/challenge, and you'll have a workbook that'll give you a prompt, a place to journal for today. And for today, for the challenge, I want you to make a list of 10 reasons why you are worthy of what your goal is, why you are worthy of what your vision is. And you'll go through them and you'll be like, oh my gosh, of course I am. But a lot of times if we don't take the time to consciously process it and see it, we don't believe it. Right? So write that out, 10 reasons why you're worthy and deserving of your goal. Remembering that ultimately you don't need a reason, you just are. But if we got to shift the energy, this will help. So That's that's your practice for today. That's your challenge for today. Now, as always, once you've completed that to get registered for the prize drawings that we're going to be doing at the end of the challenge, go on to social. You'll have your graphic that you'll receive from being part of the challenge. You can check off, I did day 14 of the challenge on your graphic. Tag me. I'm at Elyse Archer. Use the hashtag #SheSellsChallenge, and that'll tell us that you did it so we can get you registered for the prize drawing. I so hope this spoke to you. This is an important topic. It's much bigger than just this challenge, but it really is that missing link for so many women when it comes to allowing in the things that you really want. So I can't wait to hear what spoke to you about today. Feel free to always DM me, share with me what's speaking to you most, what's shifting for you as you go through this challenge. Thank you too for sharing this with your friends. I really want to empower as many people as possible to finish this year strong. So with that, lots of love, and I will see you very soon for our next